Welcome to the Sold on Symphony podcast. This podcast is designed to help real estate professionals like you get ahead by connecting you to a wider network of industry experts. We do that by inviting them on to share their stories, their experiences, and the lessons they've learned along the way. Today, I'm so happy that we had Adam Russell, the regional manager of 360 Views. He's a born and raised Buffalonian, great guy to talk to, great guy to know. He was on track originally to be in law enforcement, and he pivoted when his childhood friends who founded 360 Views invited him to jump on board with them. 360 Views since then has grown to be the leading real estate photography business in Western New York and beyond. And in our conversation, we talk about Adam's story, and we even find out that he's done something that most people never do, and he's done it twice. He's a great guy. We had a great conversation. So let's get into it. Adam, thanks for being here.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you're here because 360 Views, when I first started in real estate, it was the first company or service for real estate agents, for, clients that I even heard of. And every single person that I talk to speaks so highly of your services. And I love the story too, so We'll get into that a little bit. But why don't we just start with who you are, where'd you grow up? Are you from Buffalo? Maybe some of the jobs you had before you got into this, all that.
Yeah. So my name's Adam. I'm the regional manager for 360 Views. I grew up in Williamsville, East Amherst, in that area. I went to Williamsville North. I had no intentions of getting into real estate or photography, let alone real estate.
You weren't into it at all as a kid?
I don't get me wrong. I always wanted a camera to record stuff. Just me and my friends doing things.
You do Jackass stuff back in the day?
It wasn't that intense. Those guys are wild. It was more just riding bikes around the neighborhoods, fishing. I was really into fishing content. So I wanted a hat cam because I always thought it was cool. Guys had hat cams. It was pre GoPro. So I would have a camera with this, screw it onto the hat. I took some sort of screw or bolt from my dad. I drilled a hole in my hat. I made one myself. And I was just fishing with it. I'd never caught a fish with it on. So that was just that's kind of
how it goes.
Yeah. But I was in theory, it was great.
Yeah.
So I went into school for criminal justice. I was going to go into law enforcement. That was my thing. And it just, the timing wasn't right. I just kind of lost interest in it. The schooling part was cool. I would much rather go. You actually
went to school for law enforcement.
So I went to college for 2 years for criminal justice, got a criminal justice degree, took a few civil service exams, and then at the time I was working at Wegmans. I worked at Wegmans for 6 or 7 years.
That's school. It's one of the best places for kids in Western New York to work.
It's great. I'll talk about it later, but we hired a bunch of ex-Wegmans employees at 360 Views. It's just the customer service aspect of how they kind of just ingrain it in your head that the customer's always right. And then it's all good. Just do what they want. That part of our customer service model is so important because customers, especially in Buffalo, is so small that you really don't want to get under that. You want to be way above the customer service standard.
Word gets out real quick.
Yeah, for sure. So back to me. And then, so I was just working at Wegmans. Tony and Jordan started 360 Views in 2017, and they were doing really well, right out of the rip, cold calling. They were working with some home builders, and just it kind of got to the point where they needed somebody on the back end to help them send photos and answer email. I don't even know if I was answering emails that early, but it was more just sending photos. And at the time, we were manually logging all of our miles. So I was logging their miles, doing their earnings sheet. I don't remember if I was
How did you guys know
phones.
each other?
I've known them forever. We grew up in the same neighborhood, ironically.
Okay.
We all went to the same school. We played sports together. I played hockey with Tony when I was 8. I barely knew him. So it was just it's just stuff like that. It was Buffalo, it's so small. You just know people.
Yeah.
But yeah, me, Tony, and Jordan, and all pretty much our whole friend group, we all grew up in the same neighborhood. So we've been so tight since, and people tell us all the time, you don't know how lucky you are. You guys have been close for this long. I'm just it's almost to the point we're like brothers. Like we
I
spent
can imagine.
all the early years of TSV just in the office, like in the Eastern Hills Mall. Like there was a Flip Out Academy. We were in, that was our first office, and it was a shoebox. It was tiny. And
Flip Out Academy?
yeah. So Chris Noggle had this like cubicle style office setup where, and we shared it. Like I'm not even kidding you. It was half the size of this room. We shared it with another company. We had one desk in there and then like a table with some chairs. And then we shared it. And I just sat at that office desk and I just edited videos. I answered emails, and they'd come in from shoots during the day and sit and talk, and they'd leave and go do shoots, and I'd still be sitting there editing. So it's just like that. Those are like humble beginnings. Now it's like, we don't like see each other. We're all doing shoots and off. And so it's a lot different now.
Probably try to do like a trip or two a year together or something, or
yeah. Well, like, yeah, I mean, they still come home. Like Tony's coming home this weekend for a wedding. Like they're home all the time. Like I still see them, but then them moving down to Florida definitely changed things for us.
Yeah. What year did you graduate?
High school or college?
Yeah, high school.
High school, I graduated in 14.
Okay.
So 10 years now.
I know, it goes by quick.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I've always loved any story, and I think the general public loves stories of humble beginnings. You know, people who just start something, especially in Buffalo. A lot of the services, like lawn services, plumbers, small businesses, a lot of them, they just start doing something small, and then they grow. I'm thinking like Frank's Basement, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, Frank Sr. back in the day, he just started mowing lawns, and it grew and grew and grew. And I think that still is something that kids in blue collar areas are encouraged to do, like mow lawns, do these things because it could grow into something. And a lot of those service industries are kind of like the pool of people who are doing those things is shrinking a little bit. So you can make some good money doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
These
I mean,
days,
pretty much like what happened was Tony and Jordan originally started a landscaping business. Actually, they had a deck company too. So they had a deck company, it was called Decks and More, and then a landscaping company, which I think
Lawns and More.
It might as well have been. I don't remember if they had a name for it.
Right.
But I think it was just all under the same umbrella of Decks and More.
Okay.
But that was originally what they started with. It was a lot of manual labor. I don't know if that was the reason they switched over to TSV. But then they started 360 Views. But it was always the two of them. They have like an entrepreneur mindset. They wanted to get creative, and I think they just found the niche of real estate photos. They kind of saw that Buffalo was behind in marketing real estate. People were still doing the iPhone photo and in the mirror pictures. Like it was. So they got pretty good at it. But honestly, none of us. We hired some photographers with prior photography experience, but me, Tony, and Jordan had no photography experience. It's all self-taught.
When you first started doing the like hiring people, it wasn't staff, right? It was like more independent contractors come do this shoot, we'll pay you a fee.
Yeah. So originally we hired, it was just me and Tony and Jordan. And then we ended up hiring a guy that we just knew took photos. And we realized that we needed to more hire the person than the person who can do things. So we really kind of focused on hiring the right people. Because in real estate, you never know what you're walking into. And we do more than real estate, but real estate's our bread and butter. So like you could be walking into a divorce, a passing in the family, a pretty like ugly household with like some pretty like a lot of emotion. So like you would definitely want the right person walking into that setting. And we found that out pretty quick. It's all, like I said, we didn't really know what we're doing. We're young guys, no photography experience. We just want to make it work. And we found kind of like a hole in that photography background in Buffalo where we can kind of go in and mold into it. And we realized we just needed to hire the right people. So that's kind of what we focused on for hiring. We hired Sarah, who's been awesome. She's grown and she does a lot of our real estate stuff, but she does portraits. She does headshots. She does a lot of events. She's getting into weddings now.
Cool.
And she's just like, she's been awesome for us. And then we have Jack and Nick, Jack had the Wegmans background. AJ, our admin.
Is that Jack Harrington?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
He's a cool guy.
He's great, man. So is Nick. They're both awesome.
Yeah,
Nick is doing his own thing. He's just so like, I'm honest, they're all so motivated too. Like they love what they do, which is great. And the fact they've been like, we don't have a lot of turnaround. like or turnover in the company. Like they come in and they just love what they do. They're so flexible with their schedules. They can go take trips and come back and everything's exactly how it was before. Cool. They don't have to worry about buying their own equipment. Like we'll take care of their equipment. Like it's a lot of stressors that freelancers and photographers have to deal with on top of also trying to find like shoots. Like instead of them going home at night, only having one shoot, and it's like they're stressing, like, how am I gonna, pay for my gas this week? Like I can't get any appointments. Don't worry about it. We'll load your calendar. Just don't worry about it. Like that's the one thing
fantastic.
That's what's nice about what we do is we've been doing it for so long that word of mouth is how we get all of our business. So AJ, our admin, and Micah on the weekends, they just get the appointments, they roll them in, and they just get delegated based on location. And it's honestly such a smooth process right now.
You guys are so good at what you do as far as real estate. Like I haven't really experienced a lot of your other stuff that you offer, and we can get into that in a little bit, but you're so good and you have such a, like, I don't even understand how you can take pictures of a house and differentiate yourself so much that when you see pictures of a house on the MLS or on Zillow, I just know that it's 360 views. I see the pictures. I'm like, they did it. You know?
That's kind of like something. So when we originally started, we were just editing photos, not really doing much Photoshop to them. We started replacing the skies, which like if you scroll through YouTube and you see thumbnails, like I don't know what it is, but just like the wires in people's heads, they're like, ooh, got to click it. Like that's kind of something that we thought about. It's not really like clickbait. We just want to make it pop on the ML. So like the sky replacement with such a blue sky and a couple clouds, like it looks nice.
It really
versus like you're scrolling through and you see this $1 million house and it's gray and it's gloomy.
Right. And in Buffalo,
dark.
It's like 10 months of the year you're going to get that gray.
That gray. We all know that gray. It's gray. Especially like you said, after 6 months of hibernation and you're still seeing gray, it gets a little like, woo. But yeah, so the sky replacement was a big one. Putting in fireplaces in the fireplace, like if you're scrolling through and you see like, oh, that looks great.
Images on the TV
just to make it pop a little bit. It's just a little better than like the black screen.
Yeah.
So that's just something different. We also like could customize the picture on there. Like some people have like a big screen in their basement. We'll toss like a Bills game on there to kind of paint the picture.
Love it.
Like you see yourself living here watching Josh Allen throw 80-yard touchdowns.
Those little touches go so far because buying a house is so psychological and people want to see themselves living there. You know, I mean, some of the stuff, even in your, you give some deliverables to people who are getting ready for the shoot and like a checklist of what to do.
Yeah, the pre-shoot guidelines.
Yes.
Yeah, people love those.
And it's such good advice on there. You can find it on your website.
Yep.
Because all the knickknacks, all the personal photos, all those things. Yeah, the tchotchkes in Buffalo. That stuff, it makes people feel like they're invading someone else's space.
Right.
As
and
opposed
the family
to
photos like people are, like people have their own taste, their own style. So like when an agent comes in and their house is all like, pink room, purple room, green room, like sometimes they'll just wipe it. Like I know there's some agents that'll go in and they'll just paint the whole house. Like if there's some shag carpet, they'll rip the carpet out and put like a new carpet in or like, just to like blank the slate.
Yep.
And you're going to get more eyes on it. Like some people are like, most people will buy a house and paint it. Like that's like the first thing you do. It's going to change the smell. It's going to make it feel like it's yours. You did something to your house.
Yep.
So like just to expedite it and get more eyes on it, just paint it, change the carpet. And when we go in and do photos, like it's a lot easier for us because there's a lot of times that we edit photos and the homeowner's like, no, it's not mustard yellow. It's gold yellow. And we're like, someone's going to buy the house regardless if it's mustard yellow or gold yellow. No one's going to go and look at the pictures and then go to the house and say, wait a minute, in the pictures it was mustard yellow. And in the house now you're telling me it's gold yellow, I have to leave. It's like they're going to paint it. So that's just one thing that we deal with quite a bit, which we don't mind. Like I said, customer service, we're going to fix it for you 99.9% of the time. There's sometimes that it's like such a crazy request that there's just nothing we can do. Like sometimes there's a pod blocking the entire detached garage and we don't even know what it looks like. Like, hey, can you remove the pod? It's like, I don't know what the pod or the garage looks like. So it's like they were asking a lot out of human beings there.
Wait, they were asking you to move the pod?
Yeah, Photoshop it out.
Okay.
So it's like Photoshop out the pod and then put the garage that we can't even see because the pod's blocking it.
Yeah.
Like that's you're asking a lot out of us.
It's a lot.
We'll do our best. It's probably going to look like cartoon. And I don't know how like legal that is on the ML anyway. Like we're adding a brand new garage in that doesn't even like, you can't even see it. like, you know, but
like, can you just put a garage in my backyard that has no garage,
right.
please?
Like we've had agents get in trouble before because they wanted us to paint the garage door. And then when they like had showings and sold the house, they never painted the garage door.
Yeah.
So it's like people learn quick that there's a lot of things you can get away with. And one thing I thought for a while would be tough would be the virtual staging. But that's a service that we offer that I love. It's so expensive to stage a house.
And I've seen some virtual staging that just is like, come on, guys.
It's crazy.
But when you guys do it, it's legit. Like when I'm going through the pictures, I think normally agents will put the virtually staged photo and then the normal photo.
Yeah, I tell people to watermark it, like put a little like, you know, water, like we'll do that for people where it'll just say like this photo's virtually staged.
Yeah.
That way you can kind of just like, we don't want to like trick people. Like that's not something we want to do. We want to give them an idea of what that house could look like with furniture, like with more modern furniture. Cause like sometimes you get into like Elmwood and Allentown and there's like dated houses, but they try to match the house with furniture, which is cool. But you know, like if you're trying to appeal to a younger audience or someone, it's more of a turnaround area, they're not going to want a couch from the 50s and 60s. Like they're probably going to want something a little bit more modern. So what we'll do is we'll just remove the furniture. We'll add new furniture in. Homeowner might not be thrilled about it, but they'll be thrilled when they see that dollar sign at the end of their
100%.
their closing.
Yeah,
for sure.
Looking to elevate your real estate content? 360 Views is a real estate media company that specializes in photography and videography services for the real estate industry. They help thousands of realtors market their properties and their personal brands. You can browse options such as drone, ground photography, videography, video walkthroughs, virtual staging, 3D home tours. They do it all. Their custom content meets the specific needs of realtors and business owners throughout Western New York, and their online booking system, coupled with 7 days of admin support and a 24-hour turnaround time on all the things that they do, they ensure you an exceptional experience. Their full team of highly skilled photographers really look forward to bringing your vision to life, and you can book your first shoot at 360views.net. You got to spill out 360views.net and let them tell the story. I saw a listing the other day that was a house built in the 70s, and it had some of the shag carpet and some of the old colors.
We call that the time capsule.
Well, yeah, I mean, it had the bathroom with the
porcelain.
They had like the yellow tub or the pink tub or whatever it was. And they actually leaned into it really hard for staging and prepping the house. And they like got some like nice antique-y type furniture. And it looked sweet. Yeah. Like they actually did it really cool, and the house sold for over asking because
I like
of the way
that a lot.
Yeah.
There's a bar in Kenmore.
Nowhere Lounge.
Yeah, the Nowhere Lounge.
Yeah, it's like being in my grandma's basement, which
so cool.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
When I walked in that place, I was like, it's such a I wasn't alive in the 70s, but I definitely had aunts and uncles and grandparents that had those exact pieces.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen the movies, you listen to music, like you basically
it's such a nostalgic, awesome feeling.
I know. I love it.
I want to back up a little bit because I asked you to bring something kind of like a show and tell type thing that you'd like to show our audience. And so something that represents you, something that is meaningful to you, you want to show us what you got?
Sure. So I brought this ball. This is my first hole-in-one ball.
First hole-in-one?
Yeah, I have two.
Okay.
So this is my first hole-in-one ball. I shot that at Seneca Hickory Stick in Lewiston, and there's actually a funny story behind it. It was it was a Friday like afternoon, and I had a full work day, like shoots scheduled the whole day. I had some family in town, and they're like, "Hey, any way we can go golf today?" And I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't know if I could swing that. So I reached out to Tony.
Pun intended.
Yeah, seriously. So I reached out to Tony, who is the owner of 360 Views, and I'm like, dude, like I'd really love to go golf today. I know it's a Friday. I got a full calendar. He was nice enough to take half my shoots, so I was able to go golf. And it was just me and my two uncles. Like I said, I had some family in town, and it was on the second hole. Now it's the 11th hole. They flipped the nines. So
you got to switch it up sometimes, keep it fresh.
Yeah, so they flipped the nines. So now it's the 11th hole, but at the time it was the second hole. So I just started. and I was with my two uncles. I hit the shot, ball went in the hole. Couldn't believe it because that was my first hole in one. I've been golfing for such a long time prior.
It's such an unbelievable thing to do because of how small the hole is.
It's crazy. The odds of it are insane. And to do it twice is wild. Like the second one was not nearly as cool as that one because of all the golf shots I've hit prior to that ball going in. Okay. So for Christmas that year, this was in June. So Christmas that year, I got t-shirts made with my picture of me holding the ball up with the one, and I gave it to one to my uncle, one to my other uncle, and one to Tony because I wouldn't have had that hole in one if Tony didn't take those shoots.
Let's show a picture of that that t-shirt.
Okay. Yep, it's right there.
Yep, right there. You don't have it on film, do you?
No, I don't. So I have some buddies that just like to bust my chops a little bit and say, like, it's not on camera. It's no way that went in the hole. But
right.
But yeah,
if you don't have footage of it, it didn't happen.
Yeah, right.
You got the ball though.
Yeah, the ball's still there. It's doing great.
Did you make this? You had this made?
Yeah, so my mom gave me that. I was so pumped about it.
Yeah.
That she gave me that for Christmas, and it was just honestly a great gift. So that just sits up on my dresser, and I just get to look at it here and there.
Every day, give it a little kiss.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't happen often. That's like one of those things that like you realize like you get a lot of achievements in life, and especially me, I love golf so much that like having that's like a total accolade, like just to like check it off your list. Like it's almost like a weight off your shoulders. Like no one expects to get one, but it's like something that people hope for.
Yeah, I played disc golf, and most of the time when people play normal golf, they're like, "Oh, that's cute." But I really like it, and I haven't gotten a hole in one yet. I feel like it'd be easier to get a hole in one in disc golf.
Banging chains.
Yeah, just banging chains.
Just guys banging chains.
And I'm trying to imagine what I would do if I got a hole in one.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens at the time.
Like I said, it's nothing you're really like. When you get up to a par 3, you're thinking about it. You're like, okay, hopefully this goes in the hole. Like I said, it never happens. So like the reaction. It's like no one thinks about their celebration. Like it's just something because when it goes in, you're so stunned. Like it's such a natural reaction. Whatever you do in the moment is like so natural. It's not thought about. It's not planned. Like a Bills touchdown. Those guys are practicing their touchdown celebrations because it's like touchdown 35 of his career. Like he knows like next touchdown I'm going to do this dance. That's so natural. There's no prep to celebrating that.
Yeah. I've seen guys like rip their shirts off.
Yeah, jumping in ponds. Yeah, it's
diving in a pond.
Crazy stuff.
Okay. Well, thanks for bringing that. That's really cool, and that is a huge deal
for sure.
Back to 360 Views. What are the main services that you guys offer? If you could just kind of shout them off real quick.
Yeah. So our like main service that we offer and probably our most popular is just our photography package. That just gets booked on our website based off square footage. There's like tiers. It's like under 1,500, under 1,200, under 3,500 square feet. And that's just like interior only. We have regular real estate, which is in and out, and then exterior only. Exterior only is great for time like this in the fall when people are going to list in the winter. And they just want to get the outside done while it looks decent because
that's smart.
This is the best it's going to look for the next like 6 months or more.
Yeah, it's true.
So, get the pictures, keep them in your email or on a hard drive, and then we'll go in probably January, February, shoot the inside, list it in February or whatever. We'll probably take some fresh exteriors. That way people aren't like, this has been sitting on the ML for months because the pictures there's no snow. That's usually like a sign. It's like, oh man, there's no snow. It's February. It's been snowing for 3 months.
Yeah. Stuff you learn along the way, like
right. That. And one of my new favorite services that we offer is our vertical walkthrough, which is just like a social media reel, but it's a continuous shot. It's a great way to show like the layout of the home and the flow of the house.
Yep.
Because like pictures are great, but it doesn't do it justice. Like you really don't know where you are. Like, okay, this is a picture of the kitchen. Yeah. Where is the kitchen relative to the front door? Like, where is it?
Do you guys still do Matterport?
Oh yeah.
Okay, because I remember when Matterport came out, it was such a cool idea, and it still is. Like if you want to take your time and really look at everything,
for sure.
But just to get eyes on the house, the vertical walkthrough is such a game changer because it's the content that we're used to,
Yeah.
And you can watch the whole thing in 30 seconds to a minute.
It's edited to music. It's super easy. People have very short attention spans now.
Yeah, they do.
And you can attribute that to social media. So really we're just making it worse. But yeah, we try to keep it real short and sweet, 30 seconds, 45 seconds to a minute. Anything longer than that, people are on already
Right.
scrolling past
Right.
it. So we want people to see it. We want eyes on it. Catchy music, cool transitions, cool speed ramps, like ooh, cool, ooh, cool. Like
Yep.
that's kind of our goal. But yeah, back to Matterport. Like originally 360 views are like the company was based off of buying one 360 camera. Like we didn't have.
That's right. I remember hearing
We
about
didn't
that.
have a regular like DSLR or like camera to take photos of houses. It was just a 360 camera that we saw a YouTube video on, and I was there. Like I showed Tony the video of the camera, and he was like, "Oh, dude, we got to get this." Tony bought the camera. He pitched it to some home builders, and they were like, "I don't know what we could do with this. Like maybe we could start with photos." And that's kind of like when they realized that like Buffalo's behind in like marketing and technology, and so like COVID came along and you couldn't go see houses. It was essential workers only, and you couldn't go do showings. So you probably remember you were selling real estate then, right?
Right towards the tail end of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like double mask up, double glove up, walk into the home on FaceTime with your clients that are at home. And you're walking them through the house, and that was pretty much how it went.
Yeah.
So we would go in double masked up, double gloved up with our 360 camera and do a Matterport of the home. And that was like kind of where Matterport took off.
Yeah.
And there were days
Yeah.
where Tony was doing like 10, 12, 13 houses a day.
My God.
Just Matterport. No photos, nothing else, just Matterports. Like it was so essential.
Yeah.
So, but like you think prior to that, like 2-3 years before that, nobody wanted anything to do with the Matterport. They're like, this is crazy. They thought you needed VR goggles to do it. It's just not the case. But ever since, like, it's kind of more of like a commercial thing now. We do a lot of commercial buildings and units like for lease, like student housing and stuff like that. So people from out of state can see the layout, apartments and stuff
that makes
like
sense.
that. Things with turnover,
Commercial spaces are a lot bigger too, and
For sure.
it can be kind of confusing to remember what all the units are and what the layout and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Is there anything on the very near horizon for 360 that you're excited about that you would, maybe you don't want to reveal something too big, but like,
yeah, I mean, there's really nothing too big. I mean, Tony and Jordan moved down to Florida, so they're down in Sarasota, Lakewood Ranch, Bradenton
are they
area.
doing some of the same stuff there?
Yeah, so they're
Cool.
going to be really getting dialed into real estate marketing and photography and videography. They're doing events. So they're pretty much just like, we have such a great system here that we can kind of plug it and play anywhere.
Yeah.
And Tony and Jordan, they're better than anyone at it. Like they'll just pick it up and move it down there. And
Florida is the perfect spot for
It
it
is,
too, especially
year-round.
because you got your snowbirds like Buffalo moving to Florida.
Yep.
There's a connection.
That's their busy season too.
Miami Bills backers and all that.
Yeah, they did go to the game, that Miami game.
Did they?
So they made that little trip. So they're kind of locals down there now.
Cool.
But yeah, our slow season here is like the winter months, and that's down in Florida, the busy months. So like when we're busy here, we slow down in the winter, and then they get busy.
Genius.
So it's kind of great how they have it, and the two of them working together. It's like, it's two peas in a pod. So I have nothing but faith in the two of them to figure it out down there. But we're so set here that like it's such a well-oiled machine.
Mhm.
So it's we got a good thing going for sure.
Definitely. What about you? Where can we find you online, social media, website, like whatever you want to plug? Here's your platform. To do it.
So I'll take this opportunity to plug our website, 360views.net. You can pop on there, book appointments. We've got 2 admins that work full-time, 24 hours, 7 days a week. They're going to kill me for saying that.
Right.
I'm just
Well,
kidding.
we're in the real estate industry, so we're all kind of 24/7.
I know it. I
workers.
tell them that, but please don't bug them at 1 a.m. They won't answer. But yeah, so they're awesome. They love to help you. If you've got any questions on any of our services, or if you have any questions on any of the content that you've received, they'll love to help you. They'll walk you through it. Sometimes it's tricky uploading to different platforms or downloading on different devices. I promise you, they've seen it all.
Mhm.
They've heard it all. They're the best. They really are. Without them, like we're nothing. Like
Working with you guys is like working with friends. Someone's always available.
Mhm.
You can just text or call.
yeah, we try to be as responsive as possible. We don't want to be the company that like, hey, I tried reaching out to 360 views and no one answered. Like I see, sometimes we'll see it on Facebook where people are like, anyone know where I can, get a reliable real estate photographer? Like so-and-so didn't answer. And I'm just like, God, that can't be us. Because like,
Right.
that's not us. Like,
Right.
I wouldn't have a weekend admin. I wouldn't have a full-time weekday admin that their only job is not only job, but their job is to sit on the computer and respond to people.
Mhm.
And like, cause I'm in shoots all day. We have such a big team. that like I will answer texts, but you're going to get a way faster response from them.
Yeah,
for sure. And they're great at it. They're wizards, I call them. With the Photoshop and the Lightroom, they're wizards.
you got a 24-hour turnaround time on this stuff. Sometimes sooner. I'm like, how are they even doing this?
Yeah, so that's another crazy thing. So we obviously know that real estate's a pressing, like contingent offers, and like we need to be out of state. We just got this job. It's got to sell ASAP. So like, say for example, you just get a call after this appointment and you're like, hey, Adam, I need you in tomorrow to do the shoot. That's why we have such a big team. Like a small business having this many real estate photography employees, like I said, it's a niche market. It's hard hiring people to do what we do.
Yeah.
Because nobody is like a real estate marketing. No, I don't want to do that. I'll go work for some bigger company that can promise me more things. But like we can get somebody there tomorrow, I guarantee it. And they'll take your photos, they'll edit them that night, and then AJ or Michael will send them the next day.
Totally.
And you'll have it. And it's such a weight off your shoulder too. Because like instead of you going in and taking iPhone photos, now you can show your homeowner, look at these professional photos. I'm going to take good care of you. We're going to market your house. It's only the best, I promise.
Yeah.
And it's just like a weight off your shoulder. It's a weight off theirs. And it's just like, we try to make it as easy as possible.
You guys make real estate agents, including myself, so many times, time and time again, you make me look like a rock star with the work that you do.
That's
so
the goal.
Appreciate you. I appreciate the whole 360 Views family, company.
I promise we love doing it. We really do.
Yeah, no, I can tell. I can tell for sure. There's a lot of passion around it.
Yeah.
And
it's like our baby. We like nourish it and we grow it, and you just get more motivated every year seeing the growth, and you're like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Now what? Like what else can we do now?
And people like you deserve all the success in the world. So I wish that to you. And I really appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you. Hey, happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Seriously, this was fun.
No problem. Hey everyone, I want to take a minute to shout out Perno Brothers Advertising, the incredible team behind the scenes of Sold on Symphony. These guys are total pros and they handle everything from recording to editing, whether it's for podcasts, commercials, or social media content. They've worked with some of the best in Buffalo, including Picasso's Pizza, Macy's Place, even Labatt. What's great is that they come fully equipped. Lights, cameras, microphones, you name it, they've got it covered. Whether you need something abstract and hilarious or polished and professional, their creativity and versatility makes them the perfect fit for any project. Seriously, they're fast, friendly, and efficient, making the whole process easy. You can check them out on social at Perno Brothers Advertising. If you're thinking of stepping up your content game, you will not regret reaching out to Perno Brothers.